From Pool Party to Godfist to Muay Thai to Stormdragon, which Lee Sin skin is the best? What's up, you knuckleheads? It's Josh here, and today we are doing another champion skin tier list, this time for Lee Sin, the Blind Monk. One of the oldest, but not original League of Legends champions, Lee Sin was released on April Fool's Day 2011. And since then, Lee Sin has had 12 skins released, a 13th to be released on the next patch as of this recording, along with one prestige skin. And we are here today to rank every single one of these skins on our tier list, based on everything from cost to the new effects and animations the skin brings, to whether the skin works thematically for Lee Sin, the champion model with the skin, and any other bells and whistles that the skin might bring.
I do not teach, I demonstrate.
Now, first up on the list, we have Lee Sin's release skin, Traditional Lee Sin. As with most release skins, this one hasn't aged incredibly well. The champion model is a pretty cool design for it being a release skin. It just looks like sort of an MMA fighter, but all of the effects and animations are pretty basic. It's not a particularly fun or engaging skin line in that it's not very creative or different from Lee Sin's base. Having said all of that, it's only 520 RP and it looks pretty good, so if you need a Lee Sin skin, this is probably your good cheap option. There's probably not a lot of Lee Sin mains that are going to be using and playing with this skin, but if you're an aspiring Lee Sin main and you need a skin to get started, go ahead and pick this one up. If you got the spare orange essence, it's not going to be that much to hurt your pocket.
Your weakness is revealed.
Lee Sin's so lucky he actually got two release skins, the second being Acolyte Lee Sin. Now this one is slightly more expensive than traditional Lee Sin at 750 RP, no unique effects or animations on this skin, and to me the base model just looks uglier than traditional Lee Sin, even though it's a little more ornate and intricate. I think it just doesn't look the part. I'm assuming if you're buying one of these older skins, it's probably because you don't have a lot of money to spend on RP, and to me, traditional Lee Sin is just the better investment. So hey, if you get gifted it or you just want to get it to round out your Lee Sin skin collection, that's perfectly fine, but I would not prioritize buying this one.
I will struggle, I will fail, but to surrender is a privilege I do not have.
Dragon Fist Lee Sin, also known as Bruce Lee skin, is the first post-release skin that Lee Sin received. Officially, it's not based on Bruce Lee, but a lot of people have said that this skin looks a lot like Bruce Lee in some of his movies, and by the way, if you haven't seen Bruce Lee, you should 100% watch some of his movies, one of the iconic martial arts heroes of all time. But as for the skin itself, it doesn't have any new unique animations or effects on it, but the champion model is so cool, and the tie to Bruce Lee is just so iconic. To me, this is a must-own skin if you're a Lee Sin main. It's not that expensive, even though it's a little more expensive than the release skins at 975 RP. To me, this is just a skin that you have to own if you're a Lee Sin fan.
Enlightenment is knowing the value of one's ignorance.
Muay Thai Lee Sin is where we start to get into Lee Sin skins with new effects and animations. In this case, the recall animation for Muay Thai Lee Sin is very, very cool. The price point is honestly pretty easy to swallow at 975 RP, even though it's a little bit basic and the skin model isn't anything unique to write home about. But I think that this is a skin that, hey, if you buy it on sale, it's totally worth it. I think it's just below the tier of real mains own this skin, but it's a solid skin, and I don't think you're going wrong if you spend the RP to buy this.
I must stay disciplined.
Then we have Pool Party Lee Sin, and I'm just going to get it out of the way right off the bat. This is a must-own. For the cost at 975 RP, for the fact that it has new effects, new animations, that the aesthetic is just so super cool for Lee Sin. He fits with the pool party vibe. Almost every Lee Sin main is gonna own this skin, so if you're truly a Lee Sin main, you should buy Pool Party skin. There's not much else to say. This skin is fucking fantastic.
Many monks live in peace. I do not envy them.
SKT T1 Lee Sin was released back in 2014 to commemorate the 2013 World Champions SK Telecom T1. This was a skin chosen by their jungler Bengi, and honestly, it has not aged very well. None of the SKT T1 skins are that impressive, and this one honestly just looks like Lee Sin's part of the Tracksuit Mafia from Hawkeye. No new effects or animations. This one's not even available at all times. It's in the Legacy Vault. It's 750 RP. If it's available, I say it's not even worth buying if it's on sale. If you got the spare orange essence, sure, just because of the nostalgia and the fact that it honors a world champion. But other than that, you really don't need this one.
I bloodied my knuckles to sharpen my fists.
Then we have Knockout Lee Sin, and this is where I'm probably going to diverge from a lot of people. I don't think that this skin is particularly special. Yes, it has new unique animations and effects on the abilities, and there's a new recall animation, but I don't think they're that interesting, not to the same extent of like Pool Party Lee Sin. Is this a bad skin? No. Is it worth spending the RP on? To me, no. To some other people, it might be, but to me, this is one that if you got the Spare Orange Essence and you can reroll for it, sure, go ahead. I could maybe see the argument to put it in the buy if it's on sale, but to me, there's just so many good Lee Sin skins that you could be buying that it's just not worth it to spend the RP on this when you could just buy Pool Party or Muay Thai or a Dragon Fist Lee Sin for even less money.
Only I can endure the dragon's fury.
Next up we have Godfist Lee Sin, which is one of Lee Sin's most expensive skins at 1820 RP. Now, I know I took a lot of shit for saying that God King Darius wasn't that good, and a large part of the reason for that is because of the cost. For Godfist Lee Sin, at least it does look very, very cool, and the recall animation is probably his best in the game. It's a super, super fun skin. It's really, really dope. My only holdback for me is that still the effects on the abilities are just not that special and unique. When I'm paying this much for a skin, I really want to get my money's worth for it. Compared to others, I'm not really getting that. To me, Godfist is one you buy if it's on sale. I know a lot of people would say that this is a must own, and I understand why. It is aesthetically probably his coolest looking skin. But accounting for cost, I really just can't put it above skins like Pool Party or Dragon Fist, when those are so much cheaper, and they also have some pretty cool effects and animations.
Force is meaningless without skill.
Then we have Playmaker Lee Sin. This was to honor the 2018 World Cup. It is a limited edition skin. It's in the Legacy Vault right now, so you're not able to buy it. And normally these skins for events like the World Cup or the Olympics don't really stand out to me. This one's different. This one, the effects and animations on his abilities are actually really cool. There's a really nice recall animation. There's some even new sound effects on his abilities. To me, this one is one that if you have the opportunity to buy it, I say you should. I wouldn't say it's must own, but it's definitely a real mains own this skin. It's a cool flex if you have it. Don't bother waiting for this one to be on sale because it's not around that often. Buy it if you have the chance.
Master yourself, master the enemy.
Next up, we have Nightbringer Lee Sin. Now, this is the skin that does have a Prestige Edition, but with all Prestige skins, I'm really just going to talk about the base skin since the Prestige Edition is only available in certain circumstances. Nightbringer is one of the more expensive Lee Sin skins at 1350 RP. It does have new unique animations and effects, and the skin type is very unique for Lee Sin. It's one of his darker skins and also the only skin he has that is in those dark red and purple tones, which is pretty cool. He doesn't look placed in the Nightbringer skin at all. He looks pretty good, but given the high cost, it's really can't go higher than buy if it's on sale, and honestly, that's where I'm gonna put it. There's nothing wrong with this skin. It's worth buying if the aesthetic speaks to you. To me, it's just not unique and different enough to stand out above the rest of the Lee Sin skins. Like I said, there's so many that are so good.
The dragon answers in flame.
And Lee Sin is actually such a staple of pro play, he actually has 2 World Championship skins, the second being FPX Lee Sin, which is to honor FPX's 2019 World Championship selected by their jungler Tien. And no surprises, this is a better skin. It does look a lot better than the SKT T1 skin. Better effects, better animations. The recall animation is really, really cool, and the skin itself looks super dope. It's sort of like an upgraded version of the Nightbringer skin. Cost-wise, it's the same as Nightbringer Lee Sin at 1350 RP, and I would rank it slightly higher than Nightbringer Lee Sin just because of the limited availability, the fact that it's honoring a world champion, and I just think it looks a little bit cooler, so I'm going to put it in the buy if it's on sale tier, with the caveat being I do think this is worth buying if it's available because of the limited rarity, but to me, it's not a you must own. All Lee Sin mains own this skin. I think you can live without this, but if you have the opportunity and it's not going to break the bank, you can pay full price for this one.
I will master the dragon spirit or die trying.
Next up, we have Stormdragon Lee Sin, which is another 1820 RP skin, just like Godfist. And honestly, everything I said about Godfist Lee Sin, the effects and animations being a little bit lacking, Stormdragon makes up for it. The effects and animations on all of his abilities are just top notch. The recall animation is really, really cool. There's cool new voice lines. I think the skin is just top tier. The only downside I have is that the champion model itself doesn't look that cool. I think Godfist's model is just way, way cooler than this. But even so, I think if you're going to pay top tier dollar for a Lee Sin skin, I'd go Stormdragon over Godfist Lee Sin every day of the week. I'm going to say that this one is a real mains own skin. It just avoids the must own tier only because of the high cost.
Your spirit trembles.
Finally, we have a skin that has not released as of the recording of this video, which is Zenith Games Lee Sin. Now, I discussed my opinions on all the Zenith Games skins in a previous video, so I'll link that above. But in general, I just don't think that this skin line is that great. The look is a little bit cheesy for me for Lee Sin. The effects and animations are kind of cool, and they've grown on me a little bit, but it's going to be 1350 RP, so it's not cheap whatsoever. With all of that combined, I'm going to put this in the Got Gifted tier. The only thing saving it for me is the animations look pretty cool. Maybe if you're into this futuristic cyberpunk kind of style, it might be worth it to you, but for me, this is just not a skin that I'm interested in buying. So there you have it, the definitive tier list of every single Lee Sin skin. Guys, let me know which Lee Sin skin is your favorite, which Lee Sin skin you think I rated too high or too low. And if you want to flame me for my opinion on God King Darius, you can go ahead and check out that video right here.